Here he is, despite everything, the Lord Pumpkin. I was finally able to get my hands on Pump's major appearances outside the Sludge series. Don't ask me how. Anyway, in case you have no clue what I'm talking about, that means you haven't seen my Sludge video. I've left a link to it in the description, so do check it out. In that video I explain a lot more about Malibu Comics, the Ultraverse, Marvel, and of course Sludge. So, Lord Pumpkin made his first appearance in Sludge number 3, published in 1993. This issue was written by Steve Gerber and penciled by Aaron Lopresti. However, Lord Pumpkin was actually conceived by writer Dan Danko prior to this. I'm not really sure why Danko didn't use him immediately and instead handed over the character to Gerber. Anyway, in the Sludge series, Pump appears as a mysterious and supernatural mob boss in New York City, peddling a new drug on the street called Sook. His right-hand man is a kid called Pistol, who dresses and behaves like a 1930s gangster. Pump has great affection for Pistol and seems to regard him as a sort of surrogate son. He claims that the kid reminds him of someone he used to know, although who that is we never get to know. Anyway, the bizarre crooks eventually get involved in a brutal gang war with the other mobs. Pistol soon run into Sludge, former cop Frank Hogue turned sewage monster. Watch the Sludge video for further details, and Pistol brings this slimy freak to his boss. The Pumpkin then enlists the monster's help in a gang war, promising he'll end Frank's miserable existence in return. With Frank's aid, the war goes well for Pump, but in issue 9 of the series, his rivals send an assassin actually powerful enough to take him down. Pistol saves the pumpkin head though, and waits for his master to return. But this doesn't happen, so the kid eventually dumps the rotting vegetable in the trash. It seemed like Lord Pumpkin truly was gone forever. However, turns out Pistol simply should have been more patient. 1 month after Sludge number 9, Lord Pumpkin number 0 was published. A special one-shot. This one was written by the character's creator, Dan Danko, and in retrospect, Sludge feels merely like a build-up. This issue begins with the pumpkin being reborn in a trash heap. He simply grew back out from one of his pumpkin seeds. We'll see this happen a lot throughout the character's run. Anyway, a now powerless Pump suffers from amnesia and has no idea who or what he is. Turns out something's missing from him, something which he lost while dying. His personality has also greatly changed. As opposed to the self-confident, theatrical criminal mastermind of old, Pumpkin is now a meek, yet kind-hearted simpleton. He's found by a circus manager who kidnaps Pump and forces him to perform humiliating acts in a circus show. The manager assumes that Pump is an Ultra, the term applied to all superpowered beings in Malibu's Ultraverse. The Lord suffers at the hands of the manager and his clowns, his only friend being a young boy named Kenny, the only one in the circus who treats him with kindness. Then one night, a weird character from Lord Pumpkin's true realm appears before Kenny, offering him a gift, a strange candle which he is to give to his friend. We don't get an explanation who the hell this guy is, but maybe it's he who reminded Pump of Pistol. They do appear kinda similar anyway. So Kenny offers Pump the candle and he places it inside his mouth. The great Lord Pumpkin is thus reborn. The candle is the source of his powers, and also the piece of him that was missing. Pump now remembers everything too, and don't believe he'll be kind to his tormentors. The villain turns the circus into his very own chamber of horrors. However, soon a knight from his realm shows up and strikes him down. Yeah, it's a long and weird story. The dying Pump begs Kenny to take one of his pumpkin seeds and eat it, which he does. What exactly happened after that, we don't find out. Next time the character appeared, Marvel had bought Malibu. This took place in the 4-issue miniseries Godwheel, which features a guest appearance by Thor. In this story, Lord Pumpkin, alive and well again, was brought to the realm of Vadala, alongside several other Ultras from Earth. It's basically all just an overblown crossover with endless battles. And in the end, Lord Pumpkin died once again, but this time a ton of his seeds were reborn, resulting in an army of tiny Pumps. The character next appeared in another 4-issue miniseries, this time his own, or rather one he shared with Necromantra. It was a flip book, with one half being Necromantra and the other Lord Pumpkin. Anyway, out of all the tiny Pumps, one grew who was more intelligent than the rest, the true Lord Pumpkin. He then ran into Loki, yeah, that Loki, and begged him to return him to full size. Pump offered a mystic artifact called the Rock's Egg in return. Loki gladly took the Rock's Egg, but he did not fulfill his end of the deal. Well, not quite. Sure, he restored Pump to his original size, but he also turned him into a scarecrow and dumped him in a field. A farm was nearby, and there a lonely little girl lived. The girl eventually discovered the scarecrow and realized that it was alive. At first she was scared and ran away, but in return they began to befriend the scarecrow, which she named Straw. The lonely girl soon declared Straw her only friend. Eventually Pumpkin convinced her to let him loose, and showed his appreciation by murdering her parents, and then her as well. Shame on you, Pumpkin. In this series we finally got to know the character's origin. He hails from a place called the God Wheel, a magic medieval style fantasy world consisting of many different realms. The king of one of these realms commanded his chief wizard to create a plaything for his son, the young prince. The wizard thus created a goofy pumpkin man. This creature was then given to the prince. However, he showed no love for it, instead abusing it constantly. Eventually the poor pumpkin man decided to rebel, and got his hands on another creation of the wizard. A powerful ever-burning candle. Placing it inside his hollow skull, the candle blessed him with immense powers, far beyond any warlock or mage within the realm. With these awesome powers, the Pumpkin Man seized control of the kingdom and declared himself Lord Pumpkin. After a while though, he began to grow bored with governing his kingdom and came to Earth instead. In this crazy violent world, filled with crime and superpowered ultras, the Lord Pumpkin decided to play mafia boss. And that's where we came in. Anyway, flash forwards to Pump killing the little girl and her family. He later gets back to his kingdom and tries to reclaim his throne. However, the Pump has been gone for quite a long time, and things are now very different. His kingdom is now ruled by Necromantra, and this is when the two titles of the flipbook finally converge. The miniseries ends with Pump being turned into a scarecrow once again. Yeah, it's too weird and complicated to actually explain, so I'm not even gonna bother. The character eventually appeared in Nightman though, another Malibu title, where he tricked the hero into setting him free. Lord Pumpkin's final appearance took place in issue 15 of Prime's second volume. This was in late 1996, and we haven't seen the character since. Like I explained in the Sludge video though, Pump did appear on the Ultraverse cartoon show in the mid-90s as one of the villains. That is his only appearance outside comics. Marvel still owns both him and Sludge though, and could, if they wanted to, bring them back at any time. I'm so glad I could finally do this video. Lord Pumpkin is just so damn awesome. What a character. Definitely one of my new favorite villains. He looks great, his personality is delightful, he's got an interesting backstory, you also never quite know where he stands. Pump can show moments of kindness, only to later be incredibly cruel. He's unpredictable and it's difficult to tell what's going on in his vegetable mind. He also has an interesting relationship with kids. He started off being tormented by a kid, which is what drove him into villainy. But later he shows great affection for Pistol and treats him as a son. And then of course there's Kenny, who for a while was his only friend. During that time though, Pump wasn't quite himself, so it's difficult to say just how genuine that friendship was. And then we have the little girl, whom he also befriended for a while, but that was definitely phony, and then he brutally murdered her. It's kinda strange, yet totally fascinating, how Pump always encountered these kids. What is that all about anyway? Maybe it's got something to do with his fairy tale theme. Anyway, so, how long is the good Lord going to remain in limbo, huh, Marvel? Forget the rest of the Ultraverse, just give us this guy back. Give us a Lord Pumpkin movie. I guess it should feature Sludge too though. If such a film was ever made, which it of course never will be, it needs to be similar to Batman Returns. Heavily stylized dark camp. A weird, sinister fairy tale. That's what the comics are anyway. Have Tim Burton direct it and Johnny Depp do the voice of Pump. Come on, it would be perfect. Let me know in the comments who you think should play Pistol. So there you have it, the last video of 2018. What a year it was. This channel certainly took some turns during this year. We went from launching a whole bunch of new series to going on a semi-hiatus. And for a while there, it almost seemed as if the channel was over. Then we had a revamp, and things have been going full steam ahead ever since. To be honest, I'm getting pretty tired of churning out forgotten villains though. It is the most popular series, but regardless, I want 2019 to have some more variety. Luckily, my Ice Villains video seems pretty well liked, so I'll continue that and make it into a series. Also, the first video of 2019 will be the complete history of the Penguin. It'll take a while to make, so be patient. And of course, let's hope those EU supervillains don't fuck everything up. Anyway, Happy New Year, and as always, remember, Arkham Asylum awaits you in the next video.